Hello everyone, welcome back to the workshop. So in this video we are going to discuss what size forge is right for you. The very first consideration that you need to make about what size gas forge is appropriate for you is what type of work are you going to be doing. Are you going to be doing small stuff? If you're just starting out into this, most likely your first needs of a forge are going to be small trade show, craft show type items, right? You're going to have S-hooks, barbecue things, meat skewers, fire pokers, you know, a lot of small straight stuff. And especially if you are a knife maker and you're wanting to get into flat, sharp, and pointy things, everything's very small, flat, and short. To answer the question, what size forge is right for you, you need to first consider the size material, that the max size material you anticipate to be working on at the beginning. So how do you figure that out? Well, if you're falling in that category where you just want to get started with it, maybe you want to get into knife making, you need as small and compact of a heating chamber as possible. So a great option for that would be like this Atlas knife and tool gas forge that you see here to the right. This is a knife maker's forge. I'll put a price somewhere up on screen of what this current forge is costing, or what this current forge would run you out there. Don't get held up on price, because price is going to be a lower consideration, and I'll talk about that here in a second. This right here would be a great option for a knife maker or anybody who's working on smaller projects. Hooks, S-hooks, fire pokers, meat skewers, that stuff. Previously described stuff. Bottle openers, this is going to be a wonderful pick for size heating area for what you need to do. The reason why I say that is this small forge just sips the fuel. Absolutely sips the fuel, so it's a very low cost forge to run in your shop, and that is a very important consideration as we get into the bigger forges. Price-Centered Ironworks is sponsored by BlacksmithSupply.com and viewers like you. Be sure to check out BlacksmithSupply.com for all your forging needs. Now back to the video. Let's say you fall into the category that you're not going to make knives, but you're going to make more decorative stuff. You're going to hope to make some scrolls. Maybe you want to make some hammers and some tooling. Well, this little forge isn't going to get the work done as well because of its small heat chamber. It has a maximum that you can put in there, maximum size bar stock that you can load into the forge. So then you start moving into looking for volume of your forge. So this Mr. Volcano, and I should say I am not sponsored by any of these companies, by the way. This is not a sponsored video by any of these companies. So I do not get paid anything. I will put some product links in the description. Some of those are Amazon affiliate, some of them are not. So just be aware of that, but the product links for each one of these forges will be down in the description down below so you can read up some more. But Mr. Volcano Gas Forge, this is a great little hobby kit forge that you can put together, and it's serviceable and you can make work. It's very cheap. It's a cheap gas forge. It has its upsides and its downsides, but this is a very reasonably priced forge, and it can be a great option as you get started. So this has a lot more internal volume in it. As you can see, I got the doors bricked here. This will be a much better choice if you're going to get into something where you're going to be making some more tools. So if you're going to be getting into some tooling or other things, small tooling, right, small hammers, that such stuff, this is going to be a better option to get started with versus the smaller chamber. One drawback to this, because this is a cheap forge and because it's larger, this will consume a lot more on the fuel bill, so keep that in mind as we go forward. Over here to the left, I have this forge that I purchased many years ago. This is by far the most expensive of in all of my forges here in this shop, and this is made by the Mankel Gas Forge company. This was made many years ago. I can't tell you how long, probably 7-8 years I've had this gas forge in service. Runs flawlessly, never had to do anything with it, haven't had to replace a liner, nothing. It has a cast refractory liner, and it's a 3-burner gas forge, and this is the main beast in my workshop. But This comes with a heavy price tag, not only in the initial purchase, but in the running of this thing. I cannot run this on anything smaller than a 100-pound propane cylinder, so you do have the cost of that. And I'll go through one of them 100-pound cylinders pretty quick if I'm running all 3 burners full out. Now, where does this type of forge come into play, and who is this good for? This is an architectural gas forge. This is something that you use when you need to take and make long heats on big bar stock so you can do architectural forgings. That's what this gas forge was made for. I've got it bricked in and set up to do production work, so I can put a lot of material in this and heat it all up to heat at once to do a lot of production forging. So this is something that you're going to want to look into getting into later on in your smithing career if you choose to take and do it as a business. But in general, as a hobby smith, you need nothing that's this size or this illustrious. Now, if you'll notice, I've skipped, this is a single burner, this is a single burner, and this is a 3 burner. Say, Roy, whoa, what happened to a 2 burner? Isn't that in between? Yes, it's in between this here, the volume of this gas forge, and the volume of this gas forge. So let's talk about why price is not necessarily the main consideration that you should be considering in a gas forge. The reason why price is not the main consideration when you're thinking about gas forges and what to buy is because you need to look at your work as what you're going to be producing. If you can buy a relatively expensive option, this is super high end, this is middle of the road, this is bottom of the barrel. If you can buy the bottom of the barrel and get by just fine with what you have interest in, then go ahead and purchase the bottom of the barrel. If you need something in the middle of the road option, get the middle of the road. If that's what you can afford, right? Go ahead and do that. If you can afford paying the super high gas bill and whatever because you just want to forge keychains out of a 3 burner gas forge, then by all means buy the super expensive one. But the reason why none of that matters to me personally is because I look at tools as exactly that. Each tool is its own individual tool. There are times where the Atlas knife and tool gas forge is my go-to forge. I've used this for several public demonstrations now, has performed flawlessly, and I can go all day without having to worry about changing a 40-pound propane cylinder. Like all day long, and I've only used maybe half, not even half, maybe a third of that cylinder on an all-day forging, and that's bringing up stuff pretty darn hot right near welding. So this gas forge can just, it can just keep on trucking. But I'm demonstrating for the public in shows, and small work makes sense. This is a great compact forge. I can take it close by my power equipment, fire it up, and have my heat source right here, and then forge right there. Wonderful forge for that. This forge, it being a really cheap forge, it's great, it's economical. This has the right size footprint for small batch production runs here in the shop. And I get to save on fuel by running this forge for small batch production runs. Then this is the workhorse in the shop. This is when I have large production runs to do with heavy bar stock. Whenever I need a lot of material heated up all at once, this is the perfect option, but I don't just fire this up to listen to the flames roar. This costs money, this costs money, this costs money for every second that it's running. So that should be your main consideration, is size and fuel efficiency when you first get started. If you buy too big of a forge, yes, you can forge small little, horseshoe nail hooks in it, but it's going to cost you way more to make those in this large of a forge than it will in this large of a forge. So when you go out there and you see different tools, think of them as individual tools being used for individual purposes, and you size the size of gas forge according to the work you do. So hopefully that will help you guys in making some buying choices and decisions out there. If you're on the fence about a particular gas forge you're looking at, size it according not to your budget, but size it according to the work that you need done. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, comment down below. God bless each and every last one of you, and thank you to the channel members that make content on Christ Center Ironworks possible. And we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.